working in the email space? Put up your hands. Somehow connected with email marketing. Not on the consumer side, on the business side.
A lot of people.
Interesting. I thought it was going to be the odd man out up here, not really focusing 100% on social and search, but more on the email side. But what is interesting, today's world is ever increasingly becoming more and more social. There are 400 million tweets a day, more than 1 billion users on Facebook, and 70 million users on Pinterest, and more than 60 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every single minute. So the question I always ask myself is, amongst all this social networking activity, is there still room for email?
You're going to tell us the answer is yes.
Just trying to keep you in suspense there. There's a guy that is currently doing his PhD at the American University by the name of Louis Hestres. His research focuses on the intersection of technology, political communication, and social change. And he posted something very interesting on Facebook recently. He basically said, email is the Jason Bourne of online apps. Somebody's always trying to kill it. Sorry, the clicker's not really cooperating with me too much. Here we go. So today what I'm going to ask is, does email really deserve to die? And I'm really going to talk a little bit about why email is still relevant in today's ever increasingly social world, and talk about maybe coexistence being the solution, and talk about some considerations. If you are going to practice email marketing, what are some things that as an email marketer you should consider, and really what's the bottom line? So first and foremost, why email? Email is still proven to be very cost effective when related to all other traditional and non-traditional media. It takes a much less time and effort to get out to market. If you have a very time sensitive issue that you need to communicate to your customers, email is a very great channel to get a message out quickly and effectively. There's a lot of personalization and targeting capabilities with email. So depending on the data that you're capturing and how you're capturing it, email is a very good channel for talking to your customers in a very relevant and unique way. And if you have any theories, or if you want to test certain offers, or any other theories that you want to test, email is a very good channel to do that. And you'll actually get your learnings back very quickly. So when you do a direct mail piece, sometimes you have to wait 3 to 6 months to get the understanding of what worked and what didn't work. Email can take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to get some learnings back. It's highly measurable, and in today's world where everybody's accountable to their CMO or CEO, email, again, is very measurable in terms of opens and clicks and bounces, and also from an ROI perspective. Email can become very viral, so depending on the content, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more detail in a few slides, but again, depending on your content, email can become very viral. It's also very environmentally friendly, which is great in today's world. Green Moxie, I'm sure, would approve of email marketing. And it's actually what everybody is doing online, and I'll show a slide about that, hopefully. Sorry. Oh, here it is. Great, I'll just put this down then. So this is actually a chart from Exact Target. Everybody is doing it. So you can actually see that email, 91% of people are checking their email at least once daily. And Facebook comes in second with 57% checking their Facebook account at least once daily. But again, email marketing is really top of the line in terms of what people are doing online. So in this chart, also we can see that return on investment is obviously very positive for email. So you can see that in terms of email compared to some other online media, for every $1 spent, you're getting a return on average of about $40, which is fantastic. And Experian, which is a global business intelligence company, is also showing that year over year that return on investment is also growing. So it's not going down, it is actually increasing despite all of the activity that's happening socially. But everybody's saying social media is so sexy, so sure. But according to HubSpot, the widespread use of social media has in many ways made media an even more engaging and powerful marketing channel. So social media use makes consumers even more engaged with their inbox. It's also tied to more sharing of email-delivered content within their personal networks. And email marketing, which is really more of a monologue, can actually become a dialogue when shared socially on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And it makes sense for individuals who are already buying your products. They're predisposed to liking you, so it's not intrusive to target them with a Facebook ad or a Facebook like request. So this makes Jason Bourne very happy. So now I'm going to talk about some considerations for email marketers to stay relevant in today's increasingly social world. So shareability. This is obviously very tied to some of the other presentations that we've heard today. You want to make sure that you are adding a share this link to all of your emails that point to sites like Twitter and Facebook. And that's with the caveat if your content is share worthy. And some people are going to say, yeah, my content's very interesting. But again, you have to look and do your research and find out what kinds of content people are reading and are interested in, and make that assumption or make that assessment on your own. And also what's really interesting, you want to consider the age groups of your email database. And you can see in this chart from eMarketer that people are more likely to share your content on Facebook the younger they are, versus the older your demographic, the more likely they are to share your email via email itself. So it does definitely skew, but email again, even with the younger group, even 70% of those folks are also sharing your emails via email as well. And also ask yourself that in some cases it may not necessarily make sense to add a share this icon to all of your emails if your offer or your main objective is to drive people back to a different website or to a different call to action. So make sure you're always asking yourself what the main objective behind your email is, instead of just plastering share this icons across your email. So forward to a friend is also another way of increasing the virality, I guess, of your emails. So not only can you share within Facebook or within Twitter, etc., but you can also forward your email to other friends via email. And again, this works exceptionally well for the older demographic, as I mentioned on my last slide. So make sure you include a link to allow your subscribers to forward emails to their own network. And there's a couple of benefits to doing this. It keeps the look and feel of your email that you've tested and rigorously looked to see how it renders across Hotmail and Gmail and Yahoo, etc. And it keeps the rendering under control. If you allow people to rely on their browser functionality to forward an email, it breaks. You also get tracking. So if you use a forward to a friend form, which then triggers an email, you understand how many people are forwarding your emails to other people. Oh, actually, if you can just go one back. So also, to that point, for people who are forwarding your emails, you want to make sure that it's easy for those non-subscribers to get onto your email list. So make sure you always include an opt-in link on all of your email templates, because some people may forward your email via their browser functionality, even if you do have a forward to a friend link. So the next consideration is to consider using user-generated content. So consider using customer-generated reviews, customer questions, or products that have high customer rankings. Include polls or surveys. Let your customers know that you're interested in what they're talking about, what they think about your products. And a really interesting stat from HubSpot is that 8 in 10 people's purchasing decisions are influenced by complete strangers' user-generated content. So this example by Uncommon Goods has actually included information prior to Mother's Day to give people some ideas about what to buy their mother, and it's included some reviews on their products and services. Here's another example by Crocs, which I found was really effective. They've actually pulled the most liked on Facebook, the most tweeted on Twitter, and the most pinned on Pinterest to give people an idea of what people like about their products right within the body of their emails. And this example from Crate & Barrel has actually pulled in some posts right from their Facebook page to their email body as well. So the next consideration is your email subscribers really want to be made to feel special. So I've given you my email address. Now what do I get in return? We're going to give you backdoor access to sales and offers and promotions. You're going to limit your content and your offers to specific segments within your database. And something you should probably do is, again, make your subscribers feel special by letting them know that because they gave you their email address or because they liked you on Facebook, they're going to get something above and beyond what the general public is getting. And this is a great example by Banana Republic, where they basically get access to a VIP or a sale before the rest of the general public does. So this actually is, Nikki had a really good slide about personalization, and there's two ways that you can interpret personalization. The first way is to put a face to the company name. So Nikki had a good example. There's also other ones that we're probably all familiar with, like Richard Branson in Virgin Mobile, or Christine McGee from Sleep Country, or Bonnie Brooks from HBC. We all understand who these people are, and as soon as we hear their voice or as soon as we see their faces, we understand who they represent and what their tone and value is. So that's one way of personalizing your emails. The other way is using information you know about your subscribers to populate your emails with good content, so imagery, words that those people will relate to. So anything you know about their preferences, their browsing behavior, maybe their shopping history, any other demographic information, the more you can personalize your emails, the better your opens and click-through rates will be. So make it fun, and this is only if, again, it's brand appropriate. Obviously there's some brands out there where this may not be relevant, but one of the drivers of the time spent with social media is games, and that's especially true for women, surprisingly or not. 53% of online gamers use social networks as their gaming platform, and emails with games or videos or interactive applications are crazy viral. They will take off, and you don't even need to promote them. As soon as you send them to your database, you'll see that people start to share them within social networks or via email. Another consideration for you, again, if it's appropriate, is to show compassion. So we all know, I remember a couple years ago, I think the only example I could think of just before was the guy at home in his underwear. I don't know if anybody remembers that campaign. But basically, any charity or humanitarian causes tend to go crazy, like wildfire on social media. And email's a really great way to let your email subscribers know what causes you find important. And in this example from Nestle Purina, they actually encourage you to go online, enter a PIN from the purchase of any one of their products, and a donation to your pet charity of choice would be made. And probably one of the most important considerations for anybody doing email marketing is to get mobile. So design with mobile in mind, and go responsive design even better. And this is a really great image from the unveiling of the Pope. I'm not sure if anybody else has seen this before, but it's the same place, the same event, 8 years apart, and it is very illustrative of the way that the world has changed. I don't know if you can see the one guy on the bottom right with their flip phone documenting the event, and basically the whole audience is full of lights with everybody capturing the event of the unveiling of the Pope just 8 years later. Responsive design. So 41% of all commercial email is opened on a mobile device, and that number is expected to grow to 50% or more by the end of this year. And what Marketing Sherpas reported is that there's more than half of email marketers are not designing with mobile devices in mind. Yeah. Nope. So marketers that are not designing for mobile users, they're missing the boat, basically. So the bottom line here, email and social media like Twitter and Facebook, which is really what I focused on, really do different things, and it's important that we differentiate what the strengths and the benefits of each of those are. So Twitter is a really good tool for creating a giant social conversation. It's really great for injecting ideas into the public domains about a very specific idea. Email facilitates a one-to-one or a one-to-many communication. And when the message lands in your inbox, it's there and available whenever you want to get to it. Whereas tweets or Facebook posts are very fleeting. So they drop out of view within a few hours or even a few minutes. So what's really important here is the synergy between social media and email. Social media is a great amplifier to your email marketing campaigns, and it's basically free, or it can be free. So when you look at traditional TV, print, direct mail, which all have very high price tags associated with them, and compare them against the Facebooks, the Google Pluses, the Tumblrs, the Pinterests, etc., which are all free, you know, it's really a no-brainer. So we can all be friends. Thank you. Yes?
You seem to be talking about email marketing to your customer or people, your customer base of people that have asked for emails. You're not talking about email marketing, just using email as a vehicle.
Well, you really, to be CASL, I'm not sure if anybody is aware of CASL. We were actually just having a conversation earlier about the Canadian anti-spam legislation that's going to be soon coming into effect, probably early 2014. You really aren't legally going to be able to target people who haven't said, yes, I'd like to receive your marketing emails. So yes, everything that I'm talking about is explicitly opted in email campaigns. Yeah.
Got a year.
I'm being conservative. Yes?
I have two questions. One is, what would you say a successful open rate of an email campaign would be? And also, I mean, I do a lot of email marketing. Most of the people in the room here probably received an email from me, but and why they're here, and I find it effective. But I have any advice in regards to them sharing and trying to get people to sign up to my list, because I find that very few people actually go to the trouble to want to be added to learn content or be added to the list.
Yeah, I get the question probably weekly from my clients. What's a good open rate? What's a good click-through rate? And I have so many white papers and stats and publications that I could, you know, riddle off. What I always recommend is that my clients should set their own benchmarks and set their own objectives and KPIs. So if you have been seeing, let's say, a 15% open rate, then what can you do to your email campaign to push that higher? Because everybody's objectives, everybody's target database, everybody's demographics are different. The offers or the messaging, the content, there's so many. Hello? Hello? All right. Yeah, it's unique from one case to the next. I could give you some, you know, ballparks, but I wouldn't be a responsible marketer if I was to give you those numbers.
Let's ask Deb what her open rate is.
Yeah, what is your open rate?
My open rate ranges between 15 to 21%.
Okay, so I used a pretty accurate number.
I think it's good because it's been as low as 8 to 11 to 12%. So.
Yeah. In terms of your second part B of your question, you want to make sure that you're outright communicating what the benefits and the value of your email program is. Why am I giving you my email? What am I going to get in return? And make sure that you honor that commitment. So if you say you're going to send a monthly newsletter with some cool offers or some value-added information about X, Y, and Z, then you better deliver on that, or people are going to continue to opt out. And when people stop reading your emails or stop opening your emails, the ISPs are monitoring that activity. And what happens is, over time, your deliverability or your sender score will actually be damaged. So the people that have opted into your list may not even be getting your email. It may be going to their junk box, or it may not even be getting to their email, period. Yeah, so further to that point, you could also consider some re-engagement campaigns. And if people who are repeatedly never opening and never clicking on your emails, you might have given them an incentive to get onto your list, which was the only reason they subscribed to your email newsletter. But again, after that, if the content isn't relevant and they're not doing anything, they're actually hurting your sender score, and it's probably better just to remove them if they're not engaged with your program.
In your opinion, what would you say is the future of social media?
Yeah, I'm sorry? Yeah, the question is, what's the future of email and social media? It's not going anywhere. It's always going to evolve. It's never going to change, and that's why I love this business so much. What was relevant and what was noteworthy, 2 years ago has completely changed. I wasn't talking about responsive design in presentations 2 years ago. And in 2 years from now, I don't know what my next 10 slides would be, because it's always changing. But I just can't imagine that it's going anywhere, because the only change is how people are reading your emails. So people are now reading your emails on their mobile devices, whereas before they were sitting in front of a computer. What are some affordable applications for email marketing? Well, I'm from Vigorate. We're obviously an email service provider. We're affordable. It depends on your volume, how frequently you're going to be mailing. We obviously, we have self-serve solutions as well as full-service options. You mentioned MailChimp. They're great if you have a small list. You don't need a lot of strategy or hand-holding, but you kind of get what you pay for. So it just really depends. You're welcome to contact us and we can chat about your program.
In general then, do services like Constant Contact or MailChimp help get your emails open, or the reverse?
Well, the first question you want to ask of any email service provider that has your email program is how they're managing deliverability. So, and also what kind of full service hand-holding you're going to get, depending again on how much of that you really need. If you're doing your own campaigns and nobody's checking to see how many emails are being blocked by Hotmail, and Hotmail makes up 50% of your list or more, then even if it's a low budget email service provider, you're not getting what you're paying for, because half of your emails aren't reaching half of your subscribers. So you need to ask a lot of questions. Deliverability is a big one. So do they have the ISP relationships? Do they offer certification with companies like ReturnPath? I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with ReturnPath, but they're basically the global email intelligence provider, where we can show you how many people are opening and clicking on your emails and how many of your emails are bouncing, but they can complete the picture and tell you how many people aren't received your email in their junk box, or just complete the rest of the picture as to how many people are actually getting the emails that you're paying MailChimp or Constant Contact or whoever to send on your behalf.
What was that company?
ReturnPath. We're also a partner of ReturnPath.
Just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Good tips. Any other questions?
Great, thank you. Oh, one
Just
more?
more about maybe the email and the social media. Like, I know that now, when you send the email out, you can connect directly and your message can go be posted. Is that something, I know there's like the share this, but when you're sending out emails, you're automatically posting on some of these social networks, and do you find that to be effective, or?
I would never, yeah, sorry. Okay, so automatically are we sharing content from emails within social media?
Yeah, like automatic. Like, I know when I send it out, I can share the same message directly, like, tweet this, like, my service allows me to tweet Facebook and LinkedIn at the same time as me emailing out. So I always just have a message saying, check out my newsletter, and I post that on LinkedIn, that kind of thing. Like, is that something you think is a good idea?
Yeah, the platform that we use actually has very user-friendly ways of, sharing on various social media networks. But I would never say automatically every email you send should be shared within, on Facebook. Like I said, there's share-worthy content, and then there's not share-worthy content. And by including a share on Facebook icon on content that isn't going to be shared or very unlikely to be shared on Facebook, you're wasting real estate that could be better used to drive people back to your website to do what you actually want them to be doing, which is going to benefit your brand. So I wouldn't say blanket, yes, everybody should be sharing on social media, but there is a very good, effective way that you can do it, depending on your content.
Jennifer's going to be around. She's going to answer questions later.